Jim, what are you thinking?
I'll make you an offer at $200,000 for 22%.
As one of the original Dragons, Jim Treliving has seen all kinds of business pitches.
Jim, what do you think?
Oh, that's a workout. How's that feel?
Oh my God.
Okay, that's dark enough. That's dark enough.
He's got to go to painting school, Nicole, big time.
While Treliving is now known as one of the country's most successful entrepreneurs, the owner of Boston Pizza and co-owner of Mr. Lube, he started in a much different role. He was an RCMP officer before opening his first Boston Pizza franchise. In 2019, he was inducted into the Canadian Walk of Fame for his business success and philanthropy.
For me, I think you've driven a post right through my heart for this deal, so I'm out.
After 15 seasons on Dragon's Den, we wanted to know what he'll miss about the show, how the pandemic has affected his restaurant chain, and getting caught on camera during one of Canada's most famous sports moments. Jim, I wish we could do this in person, but it's fantastic to talk to you.
Nice to talk to you too, Ian. It's been great. I wish we were together. It'd make it a lot easier.
As you know, I've been a fan of Dragon's Den literally from the first day of the first show. How does it feel now to be an ex-Dragon?
Wow, it's a wow. It's good in one thing, but I miss some things, and especially the people that work at CBC, the camera crews, and all that people that work behind the scenes. They make us really look good.
One of the great things about the program, and I think it's rare in Canadian television, maybe even Canadian culture, is celebrating entrepreneurs like yourself and the people who would come on the show. What do you think the impact of the show has been?
I think it's been fantastic across the country, and I get that from just people walking up to me on the street, or calls or emails and stuff like that I get around the world, especially in Canada and even outside the country now. And it's amazing how the reach has gone to entrepreneurs everywhere. And I think the Chamber of Commerce was about 4 or 5 years ago come on and said, you people have really, our whole system is bumped up because of what you people are doing on Dragon's Den.
So give me an example of a business that you invested in the show and stuck with it. And I don't know, maybe it surprised you or otherwise maybe put a little money in your pocket.
Well, there was a number of them. There just wasn't one. We invested a lot across the years, but one that sticks in my mind, it was just a funny one that came on the show, and it was two young guys, and they were in Calgary, and they had ugly Christmas sweaters. And I don't know if you remember that one.
Oh, I do, yeah.
We thought, ugly Christmas sweater, where's that gonna go? And the most amazing thing was that they were selling it in the mall, and my investment was $5,000. It wasn't much. They just needed inventory. That went on for 3 years, and I got, I think, 2,700% return on my money. Who would have thought? It was crazy.
You are now, of course, in Canada, best known as being a Dragon, but also as the owner of Boston Pizza. And I just think back to this last year. I mean, very few industries have been hit as hard as restaurants, and there you are, and right across the country, all kinds of different rules. What's that? How has the pandemic affected that business?
Well, it's, to say the least, Ian, it's been really trying, and it's harder on, but as a franchise company, that's probably one of the best things that we ever did when we completely went franchising across the country, because these are individual operators and franchisees that live in a town, are probably grew up there in some cases or around that area. They know the area, and they get a lot of customers and people that come to the restaurant all the time, just to support their local restaurants. And to me, that was what's been a real godsend for us.
What sort of lessons do you think you have in all your years of being a business person and what you've seen on Dragon's Den? What lessons in terms of entrepreneurship do you have for Canadians?
Well, I think the biggest thing is that you want to get into a business that you really enjoy and you are fairly good at. And you can test that out first with your parents if you want, or your family. But test it with people you don't know to see if that works. The second thing you got to have more than anything else is you got to have your numbers. You may think it's the greatest thing in the world, and it just doesn't work. And nobody's going to lend you money or put money in front of you or do anything with you unless you can see where you can make some money with this. The great entrepreneurs and the ones we've seen so far and I've invested in have done really well.
Jim, as I'm talking to you, I'm thinking back to an interview I did with you 11 years ago.
We have 3 dragons in our studio tonight. First time we've had 3 guests, and first time we've had 3 guests with both the star power and the net worth of you 3.
And people started coming to the studio while we did that interview. And at one point, when we were done, you opened up the door, and it was like the Beatles. All of a sudden, all these people were cheering, and you walked out there. And one of your other dragons was in the interview as well, and she came over and said to me, "Jim loves this. Jim loves this public reaction." Are you going to miss that?
That's great.
Are you going to miss it?
I am, and we still get it. The greatest thing with television, Ian, as you know, that we could be gone 10 years, and Bonanza was on 5 years after they finished any of the programs, and we'll be there for a while seeing it. And I still get people walk up to me in the street when I walk around Stanley Park. The same thing. They stop me and say hi, and the greatest thing is that they probably don't know how to pronounce my last name, but they know it's Jim from Boston Pizza. And I love that because it helps our brand. It does everything else besides just helping me. But
there's one other thing I want to ask you about. I saw a picture, Toronto Raptors on their way to winning a championship, and the shot by Kawhi Leonard. And there you and your wife are, perfect seats, watching that moment. We can see the picture, but tell me what it was like for you.
it was unbelievable. I saw the ball in the air and heard the buzzer at the same time. And the look on my face was, oh my God, it's over. Even the ball goes in. I didn't realize that when the ball was in the air, it doesn't matter whether the buzzer goes off, it's got to fall. And that was what my concern was. And she was going crazy. And I'm still looking with this look. And my son sent me a message a day later and he said, Dad, did you pass away? And you didn't even, you look like you're dead. You weren't enthusiastic at all. And I said, well, I heard the buzzer. And that was what we thought was overtime.
Hey, listen, you're a hockey guy, not a basketball guy. So you're forgiven for not understanding exactly when that point would count.
Thanks, Ian.
Jim, you are a fantastic guy. I've had the pleasure of interviewing you over the years, and I wish you the best of luck for what's next.
I think the biggest thing is what's next is doing our charity work with CAMH and the David Foster Foundation and other charities we're involved with, Kids Help, Phone Line, and so on. And I think the other thing is, I want to push more on our Boston pizzas, maybe in other parts of the world. But after this pandemic's over, there's lots of other things to do. And you may see me somewhere else that never know where I'm going to show up, Ian.
All right. Thanks, Jim.
Thank you. And there's one thing I want to do before I leave.
What's that?
For years, I wear a tie. First time I see everybody's wearing loose and enjoying life. And you know what? It's sort of nice not having to wear a tie after 15 years.
Yeah, a little bit like Brian Burke there. Looks good on you.
No jacket. I can take my jacket off and really enjoy life now.
Nice. All right. Well, if I golfed, I would say I'd see you on the golf course.
It was a lot of fun. Thank you, Ian, for this interview, because you're fantastic.
All right. Talk to you soon, I hope.
We will. Take care.